To look at the situation in Zimbabwe ahead of the elections. We're in conversation now with Rev Wilfred Dimingu, General Secretary of the Zimbabwe Council of Churches. Very good evening to you, and thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Good evening. Thank you.
I just want to get your perspective on what your members are saying, even your constituencies, in the lead up to the elections. What reports have come through about the conditions ahead of the elections? Are they conducive for a free and fair one?
As we head for the national harmonized elections this year, we can say that there's been the process before the election has been relatively peaceful compared to the previous elections, where we witnessed violence before the elections. This year, we have not seen much of violence as we go towards these elections on the 23rd of August. However, we have a sad event of one member of the opposition, SABC, who was stoned to death in Harare a few weeks ago, which was really a sad development. But we are happy that the police have arrested some of the perpetrators, and we are hoping that justice will take its course. But however, generally, we have not witnessed much violence, and we credit this to the gospel that the church has been preaching and advocating in our engagement with the political players to ensure that we have a peaceful election that for once will produce an uncontested electoral result. However, we can say that as a church we have been worried about the number of court cases that have been going on with regards to the electoral processes. An unprecedented number of court cases have been filed with the courts regarding the electoral processes. But what we can say generally, we can see that the nation is ready for the election, although we are not where we would have wanted to be as a country as we head for the election. But I can safely say that we are somewhere. We are not where we used to be.
And that's interesting to hear, because in the run-up to the registration process, even eligibility of some of the political parties and those who are contesting these elections, there was a lot of rancor, particularly directed at ZEC. We saw the ZEC chairperson, Priscilla Chikumba, saying recently, affirming, as per the Constitution of Zimbabwe, Section 235, saying that the ZEC is neither under the influence of the government, organizations or individuals. Do most Zimbabweans, including your own organization, trust this?
The problem in our country is the problem of trust. Zimbabwe is highly polarized politically. It is polarized, even the media and the public. There is a problem of trust in our country, where people have lost trust in each other and even in institutions that are supposed to serve them. And yes, those sentiments are there. And what we are looking at is to ensure and encouraging the bodies that are mandated by the Constitution to run the elections, particularly the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, to ensure that they work towards proving that they are worthy and they are capable of running the elections and they can be trusted. So we have been having engagement with most of these bodies to ensure that we have a peaceful electoral process, we have a free and fair electoral process. But surely there is a problem of trust in our country. Many people have lost trust in the institutions that should be served them, that should be serving them.
And I'm just wondering what can be in place. So you have noted reports of intimidations of citizens, the loss of innocent lives, and the destruction of property during election campaigns. You say particularly unleashed against the opposition party. You had ZAPU's Secretary General Mthulisi Anana saying elections in Zimbabwe are an extreme sport, and it seems that that perception certainly stays with people. But what about the reality on the ground? Are people free to campaign for other parties? Do you think that they'll have a freedom of choice on the day of the elections?
The situation in Zimbabwe, I can say, is very fluid. If a few months ago, it appeared that there were some challenges with the opposition party holding their campaigning rallies. They've been having challenges with the authorities, particularly the police, for them to get clearance to hold their political rallies. But we through engagements, we are happy that the opposition parties are now free to hold their elections, although there are still claims from the opposition party that the ground is not level. But for the past few weeks, we have witnessed the opposition party freely holding their own rallies. But we can say, yes, particularly on the issue of the media, the national broadcasters, not giving much airtime to the opposition as compared to the space that they give to the ruling party. But all in all, we can say, as we speak of now, as we get closer to the day of election, we have witnessed that the space is open for all political players to campaign and solicit for votes from potential voters. But also we can say, as a nation, we have a history as Zimbabwe of holding electoral processes that are violent. But then we can say where we are now, we can say it's better compared to other years that we had elections. But we cannot really say this is the best.
All right, let's talk about access to information. Since as far back as 2019, there have been reports of national internet shutdowns. Are there similar fears, particularly on election day, in the run up to it, and of course during and after? Information blackouts, that's a concern that's been raised in the past by many opposition parties and indeed even election observers.
What we can say now is that there have been quite a number of platforms where information has been is being disseminated to the public and also to observers, international and local observers. Even if people may fail to get information from the public media, now we've got social media, which has become one of the most the major platforms where information is being disseminated, and we have been engaging with even the Chapter 12 commissions and the Media Commission to ensure that people get access to the rightful information and there is no blackout on information. And as a church, we've been engaging with the political players in our country, the political leaders, the ruling party, and we hope that they will keep their promise, that they will create an environment where information will be disseminated to everyone. There will not be any blackout on the dissemination of information during this electoral period.
And of course, to echo your sentiments, your prayers of a peaceful election, that's what we hope for as well. That is Reverend Wilfred Dimingu. He is the General Secretary, Zimbabwe Council of Churches.